Oh God, do we have to go back to this again?
England's fortress is the Temple of Doom, but for Fiji, it is simply the greatest moment in their rugby history. Final score at Twickenham, England 22, Fiji 30.
Yes, England are having to play Fiji once more, and the wounds are still fresh after their Twickenham match-up in the warm-up games, and Fiji winning their first game against England ever. Both of these sides have had similar stories throughout the World Cup. Expectations were probably better for Fiji, whereas the England expectations were down the toilet with their form, but both teams have not looked their best during the tournament. England started off pretty great. They put a really solid game against Argentina, even with Tom Curry getting a red card for grazing his head against someone else's face. But they've looked okay in that game. They went on to play Japan, Chile, Samoa, and they won all of those games, but none of them were convincingly, and they looked like they struggled at times and reverted back to their same old game plan that hadn't seemed to work in the Six Nations or the warm-up games of kicking possession away and making mistakes and low-discipline rugby. Of course, we're starting to see a wild card of Marcus Smith being played at 15, and I can't help but feel that maybe his place in this team should be justified for this Fijian game. The pack are looking better. They're starting to form together into a cohesive unit, and I think the known 15 is there, as most importantly with the known pack. They've decided to go with a more mobile forward pack that I was begging for, where we're basically just selecting 5 back rowers and putting them in at second row as well, and this is starting to pay off. And the ultra athleticism of Dan Cole at the tight head prop shirt is really securing our place in securing the line out and both the scrums. So England are looking okay. You can see there's some changes in there. You can see them playing some really great rugby against Argentina and maybe dropping off further on down the line. For me, I think they just need to clean up their discipline and have a cohesive game plan that doesn't include kicking the possession away, and that's where they failed against Fiji. Fiji, on the other hand, started off with a loss against Wales, which really came down to the last minute, and they played fantastically. Against Australia, they probably had their best game of the tournament, where they managed to hold down another opponent that I don't think they've ever beaten before. Maybe it was once before, not 100% sure. And then they went on to have a very close game against Georgia and lose against Portugal, which, to be fair, Portugal played very well in. So, again, it's a mixed bag. Two teams that really haven't played their best rugby, I don't think, but have managed to get into a quarterfinal with each other. So, where do I think this game is going to be won? Well, selfishly and arrogantly as the Englishman I am, I'm thinking this is really going to come down to what England decide to do with their tactics. Now, what do I mean by that? If you go back and watch my video where I went to go watch England at Twickenham myself, to disappointment and losing to Fiji, what I noticed is that England just kept kicking possession away to an opposition that likes to play with ball in hand. The first 15 minutes of that game was all England. They had all possession, pressure in the 22, kept getting over the gain line and scored a try. Then the rain came in and they kept kicking possession away to a team that is famous for their sevens play. Lo and behold, what happened? The offload started being thrown all around. The runs were going around the players. Even some truck sticks were hit on some England players. And ultimately, they ended up losing the game because they allowed the opposition to gain confidence with what they do best. If England do the same thing and we see them kick possession away consistently, I just think they could lose this game again. Fiji, I seem to be the Tyson Fury of the tournament, where they play up to the standard of their opposition, but if England don't play well and they don't want to keep the ball in hand, they're going to allow Fiji to fly. This is why I want to see Marcus Smith in at fullback. I feel like he's going to give you an attacking option rather than just a kick and chase option. I feel like the Fiji are getting better and better at that each week, but maybe we can wrangle an advantage in the line out and the scrum, or basically keep having attacking forward play to set up some space on the outside. If we see constant up and unders again and Alex Mitchell box kicks, which sometimes they work, but in the last game, my God, that was terrible. If we keep seeing that and seeing the possession being kicked back to Fiji, this game's only going to go one way, and that's in Fiji's way. Personally, I'll be watching, very nervous, and I feel like if I don't see England wanting to hold on possession, I'm talking at least 60% within the first half. I might be writing them off by half-time whistle. And let's be honest, Fiji going through to the semi-finals instead of England, I think would be great for World Rugby, and it might be good for English rugby as well to get their act together. Do your wager. England select Marcus Smith at 15, and they can pick whoever they want at 10 at Owen Farrell and George Ford. Controversial opinion, I think both of them have played well at fly half. I just don't think they've played well at 10 and 12 when they're on the same pitch together. Marcus Smith plays at 15 and starts at 15, or gets more than 40 minutes at 15, aka through injury, and has to come in and replace the fullback. I think England win the game. If they don't do that, I think Fiji win. And I think it's as simple as that, really. England's discipline as well is another factor. I think if England give away more than 9 or 10 penalties, then they're going to give the game away to Fiji again. Again, it's down to England to do what they want to do to try and win this game. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it for me. Hopefully Fiji get through and can put us out of our misery before one of the good teams do.